4.5 billion years ago, our planet was a hellscape of molten rock, toxic gases, and relentless asteroid bombardment. Yet within just 500 million years of this chaos ending, life had not only emerged but was already diversifying into complex forms. This timeline presents one of the most perplexing mysteries in all of science. The conventional story tells us that life began in some warm little pond, as Darwin imagined, or perhaps in deep-sea hydrothermal vents where chemistry meets geology in dramatic fashion. Simple molecules somehow organized themselves into self-replicating systems, which then evolved into the first cells. But when we examine the evidence more closely, this narrative becomes increasingly difficult to reconcile with what we observe. Consider the oldest confirmed fossils we've discovered. Stromatolites from Western Australia date back 3.5 billion years, formed by communities of cyanobacteria that were already performing photosynthesis. These weren't simple chemical reactions stumbling toward life. They were sophisticated biological systems, complete with cellular machinery, DNA replication, and metabolic pathways that rival modern organisms in their complexity. The gap between lifeless chemistry and these advanced cellular systems represents a quantum leap that challenges our understanding of how quickly biological complexity can emerge from purely terrestrial processes. More intriguing still are the isotopic signatures found in rocks from Greenland, dating back 3.8 billion years. These carbon signatures suggest that life may have been present on Earth almost as soon as the planet cooled enough to support liquid water. This timeline compression becomes even more remarkable when we consider what was happening to our planet during this period. The late heavy bombardment, which occurred around 4 billion years ago, subjected Earth to a sustained assault of asteroids and comets. Some of these impacts were so massive they would have boiled away entire oceans, sterilizing the surface completely. Yet life appears to have emerged or re-emerged almost immediately after each catastrophic event. This resilience suggests either an extraordinarily robust terrestrial origin for life, or alternatively, a continuous resupply from external sources. The traditional model of abiogenesis faces additional challenges when we examine the chemistry involved. The Miller-Urey experiment, conducted in 1953, demonstrated that organic compounds could form under conditions thought to resemble early Earth. Amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, appeared when electrical discharges were passed through a mixture of methane, ammonia, water vapor, and hydrogen. This experiment became a cornerstone of origin of life research, seemingly proving that life's building blocks could emerge naturally from inorganic matter. However, subsequent research has revealed significant limitations in this approach. The atmosphere composition used in the Miller-Urey experiment likely doesn't match early Earth conditions. More importantly, creating individual amino acids is vastly different from assembling them into functional proteins, let alone creating the complex molecular machinery required for life. The probability calculations are staggering. A typical protein might contain several hundred amino acids arranged in a specific sequence. The number of possible arrangements exceeds the number of atoms in the observable universe. For a functional protein to assemble randomly would require timescales that dwarf the age of our solar system. This statistical improbability doesn't make terrestrial abiogenesis impossible. but it does suggest that we may be missing crucial pieces of the puzzle. Perhaps the most compelling evidence for reconsidering life's origins comes from studying extremophiles, organisms that thrive in conditions previously thought to be uninhabitable. These remarkable life forms have been discovered in boiling acidic springs, deep within solid rock, in the upper atmosphere, and even in the vacuum of space. Their existence demonstrates that life's boundaries extend far beyond what we initially imagined, suggesting that the cosmos may be far more hospitable to biological processes than we assumed. Tardigrades, microscopic animals commonly known as water bears, can survive temperatures approaching absolute zero, pressures 6 times greater than those found in the deepest ocean trenches, and radiation levels that would be lethal to most life forms. When exposed to the vacuum of space, they enter a state called cryptobiosis, essentially suspending all biological processes until conditions improve. These capabilities aren't evolutionary accidents. They represent sophisticated biological mechanisms that allow survival in environments remarkably similar to those found in space. The question becomes, why would terrestrial evolution produce such capabilities unless life had already encountered these conditions? Recent discoveries in astrobiology have expanded our understanding of where life might exist in the universe. Europa, Jupiter's ice-covered moon, harbors a subsurface ocean that contains more water than all of Earth's oceans combined. Enceladus, Saturn's small moon, shoots geysers of water and organic compounds into space from its southern polar region. Mars shows evidence of ancient riverbeds, lake systems, and seasonal methane emissions that could indicate ongoing biological activity. These discoveries suggest that the conditions necessary for life may be common throughout our solar system, and by extension, throughout the galaxy. If life can emerge independently on multiple worlds within a single star system, the probability of life existing elsewhere in the universe becomes not just possible, but inevitable. The search for biosignatures in the atmospheres of exoplanets has already yielded intriguing results. The James Webb Space Telescope has detected water vapor, carbon dioxide, and other organic compounds in the atmospheres of distant worlds. While these detections don't confirm the presence of life, they demonstrate that the chemical ingredients for biology are widespread throughout the cosmos. The abundance of these compounds raises a fundamental question. If the building blocks of life are so common, why wouldn't life itself be equally ubiquitous? This perspective shifts our focus from asking how life began on Earth to asking how life moves through space. The Panspermia hypothesis suggests that life doesn't emerge independently on each world, but rather spreads from planet to planet, carried by comets, asteroids, and other celestial bodies. Under this model, Earth wasn't the birthplace of life, but rather one of many worlds that received the seeds of life from elsewhere in the galaxy. This hypothesis elegantly explains several puzzling observations about life on Earth. It accounts for the rapid appearance of complex life forms in the geological record. It explains the remarkable similarity of basic biological mechanisms across all domains of life. Most importantly, it provides a framework for understanding life not as a terrestrial phenomenon, but as a cosmic one. If panspermia is correct, then every living thing on Earth shares a common cosmic heritage. We are not separate from the universe, but integral parts of a vast biological network that spans the galaxy. The implications of this perspective extend far beyond biology into philosophy, religion, and our understanding of humanity's place in the cosmos. As we prepare to examine the evidence for panspermia and cosmic seeding, we must approach these ideas with both scientific rigor and intellectual humility. The story of life's origins is still being written, and the evidence suggests it may be far more extraordinary than we ever imagined. The Murchison meteorite fell to Earth in 1969, carrying within its rocky matrix a cargo that would revolutionize our understanding of organic chemistry in space. Scientists discovered over 70 different amino acids within this 4-billion-year-old fragment of an asteroid, including many that don't exist naturally on Earth. What makes this discovery particularly significant is that these amino acids showed a specific handedness, or chirality, that matches the biological preference found in all terrestrial life. This wasn't random chemistry. This was organized, preferential molecular architecture that suggests systematic processes operating on a cosmic scale. The implications extend far beyond a single meteorite. Every year, approximately 40,000 tons of extraterrestrial material reaches Earth's surface, much of it in the form of micrometeorites too small to be noticed but large enough to carry complex organic compounds. Laboratory analysis of these cosmic dust particles reveals a consistent pattern. They contain organic molecules, amino acids, and even more complex compounds like nucleobases, the building blocks of DNA and RNA. These discoveries have transformed our understanding of space from a sterile void to a vast chemical laboratory actively synthesizing the ingredients of life. The formation of organic compounds in space involves processes that operate on scales both immense and intimate. In the dense molecular clouds where stars are born, temperatures drop to just a few degrees above absolute zero, and pressures are lower than the best laboratory vacuums. Yet within these seemingly hostile environments, complex chemistry flourishes. Carbon atoms, expelled from dying stars and dispersed through interstellar space, encounter hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and other elements in the cosmic medium. Catalyzed by radiation from nearby stars and facilitated by the surfaces of dust grains, these atoms combine to form increasingly complex molecules. Radio telescopes have detected over 200 different organic molecules in space, including ethyl alcohol, formaldehyde, and even sugar molecules. The molecular complexity we observe challenges the notion that space is chemically simple. Instead, it suggests that the universe itself is engaged in a continuous process of molecular evolution, creating ever more sophisticated compounds through natural selection at the atomic level. This cosmic chemistry becomes even more intriguing when we consider the role of water in space. Water is the most abundant molecule in the universe after hydrogen and helium, and it exists in forms that span from individual molecules in interstellar space to vast oceans on distant moons. But water in space isn't just a passive medium. When cosmic radiation strikes water molecules, it creates reactive species that can drive complex chemical reactions, even in the apparent void of space. This radiation-driven chemistry has been observed in laboratory simulations that recreate interstellar conditions. When researchers expose mixtures of water, methane, ammonia, and other simple compounds to the types of radiation found in space, they consistently produce amino acids, nucleobases, and other biological molecules. The efficiency of these reactions suggests that space itself may be a more effective laboratory for prebiotic chemistry than the early Earth. The question then becomes, how do these space-synthesized molecules travel from their cosmic laboratories to planetary surfaces? The answer lies in understanding the dynamic processes that move material through space. Comets, which originate in the outer reaches of our solar system, are essentially dirty snowballs composed of water ice, dust, and organic compounds. As they approach the sun, these primitive objects develop spectacular tails created by the sublimation of their surface materials. But what's truly remarkable is that spectroscopic analysis of these comet tails reveals the same organic molecules we found in meteorites and interstellar space. Comets appear to be delivery vehicles, carrying the products of cosmic chemistry from the outer solar system to the inner planets. When comets impact planetary surfaces, they don't just deliver water and organic compounds. They also create the high-energy conditions necessary to synthesize even more complex molecules. The shock waves and intense pressures generated by these impacts can drive chemical reactions that wouldn't occur under normal planetary conditions. Laboratory experiments simulating comet impacts have successfully produced amino acids, peptides, and even simple proteins from the organic compounds found in meteorites. This suggests that the delivery of extraterrestrial organic material to Earth wasn't just a passive process, but an active one that continued the synthesis of biological molecules on our planet's surface. The timing of these deliveries correlates remarkably well with the appearance of life in Earth's geological record. The late heavy bombardment, which occurred around 4 billion years ago, represents the most intense period of comet and asteroid impacts in Earth's history. Rather than being a destructive force that delayed the emergence of life, these impacts may have been the primary mechanism by which life arrived on our planet. This perspective reframes catastrophic events not as obstacles to life, but as essential steps in its cosmic dispersal. The survival of organic compounds during violent cosmic journeys initially seemed implausible. How could delicate biological molecules survive the extreme temperatures, pressures, and radiation encountered during meteorite impacts? The answer lies in understanding the protective mechanisms that operate in space. Organic compounds embedded within rocky or icy matrices are shielded from the worst effects of cosmic radiation and extreme temperatures. During atmospheric entry, the outer layers of meteorites are heated to thousands of degrees, but the interior remains relatively cool. Computer simulations of meteorite impacts show that temperatures inside these cosmic travelers often remain below the threshold for destroying organic molecules. Even more remarkably, some organic compounds appear to be enhanced by the conditions of space travel. The polymerization of simple molecules into more complex structures can be accelerated by the radiation and thermal cycling experienced during interstellar journeys. This suggests that space travel doesn't just preserve organic molecules, but actively evolves them toward greater complexity. The concept of lithopanspermia takes this idea even further, proposing that microorganisms themselves can survive journeys between planets. When large asteroids or comets impact a planet's surface, they can blast rocks and potentially living organisms into space with sufficient velocity to escape the planet's gravitational field. These impact-ejected materials then become interplanetary spacecraft, carrying their biological cargo to other worlds. The survival of microorganisms during such journeys depends on their ability to withstand the extreme conditions of space. Experiments conducted on spacecraft and the International Space Station have demonstrated that certain microorganisms can survive exposure to vacuum, radiation, and temperature extremes for extended periods. Spores of Bacillus subtilis, for example, have survived more than 6 years in the vacuum of space when protected by just a thin layer of other microorganisms. These findings suggest that the barriers to interplanetary life transfer may be lower than previously thought. The discovery of subsurface life on Earth has further expanded our understanding of where organisms might survive during cosmic journeys. Microorganisms have been found living in solid rock kilometers below the Earth's surface, deriving energy from radioactive decay and chemical reactions with minerals. These deep-life communities could easily survive the journey through space embedded within ejected rocks, protected from radiation and sustained by their host materials. The implications extend beyond individual organisms to entire ecosystems. If life can transfer between planets, then the biodiversity we observe on Earth might include contributions from multiple worlds. The rapid diversification of life forms following mass extinction events could be explained by the arrival of new species from space, bringing fresh genetic material and evolutionary innovations. This perspective suggests that evolution on Earth has been influenced not just by terrestrial selection pressures, but by periodic infusions of cosmic biodiversity. The search for evidence of panspermia has led scientists to examine the genetic code itself for signs of extraterrestrial origin. The universal genetic code, used by all life on Earth, shows remarkable optimization for error correction and information storage. Computer analysis suggests that this optimization is so sophisticated that it's unlikely to have emerged through random terrestrial processes alone. Instead, it may represent the product of evolutionary processes operating over cosmic timescales and involving multiple planetary environments. The redundancy built into the genetic code, where multiple DNA sequences can produce the same protein, provides exactly the kind of error protection needed for information to survive long journeys through space. As we examine these diverse lines of evidence, a pattern emerges that challenges our Earth-centric view of life's origins. Rather than being a uniquely terrestrial phenomenon, life appears to be a cosmic process that operates on scales far larger than any individual planet. Our galaxy is not a static collection of stars, but a dynamic system where matter flows between stellar systems through processes that operate on vast scales and timescales. Every star formation event, every supernova explosion, Every collision between celestial bodies contributes to a cosmic circulation system that moves the ingredients of life throughout the galaxy. This galactic metabolism suggests that life, if it exists anywhere in the Milky Way, would inevitably spread to other star systems through natural processes. The implications are profound. Rather than being isolated experiments in biology, planetary ecosystems may be interconnected nodes in a galaxy-wide network of life. The circulation of matter through galactic space follows patterns that astronomers have only recently begun to understand. When massive stars reach the end of their lives, they explode as supernovae, dispersing their outer layers and everything they've accumulated over millions of years into interstellar space. These stellar explosions create shock waves that propagate through the galactic medium for thousands of light years, carrying dust, gas, and potentially biological material across vast distances. The heavy elements essential for life, including carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus, are manufactured in stellar cores and distributed throughout the galaxy by these cosmic explosions. But supernovae don't just distribute sterile atomic matter. They also accelerate pre-existing dust grains, organic molecules, and potentially even microorganisms to velocities that can carry them between star systems. Computer simulations of galactic dynamics show that material ejected by supernovae can travel hundreds of light years before being incorporated into new star-forming regions. This process creates a galactic-scale conveyor belt that continuously redistributes matter and potentially life throughout the Milky Way. The time frames involved in galactic circulation are measured in millions of years, but this matches remarkably well with the timescales of biological evolution. Over the 4-billion-year history of life on Earth, our solar system has completed roughly 18 orbits around the galactic center. During this time, we've encountered numerous star-forming regions, passed through spiral arms with increased stellar density, and been exposed to multiple supernova explosions within our cosmic neighborhood. Each of these encounters represents an opportunity for material exchange between our solar system and the broader galaxy. The discovery of organic compounds in the interstellar medium provides direct evidence for this galactic circulation of life's building blocks. Radio telescopes have detected complex organic molecules in star-forming regions throughout the galaxy, including regions that are currently giving birth to new planetary systems. These molecules don't just exist in isolation. They're incorporated into the protoplanetary disks that surround young stars, becoming part of the raw material from which planets and potentially life will form. This suggests that new planetary systems inherit a chemical legacy from previous generations of stars and potentially from previous episodes of biological evolution. The concept of galactic habitable zones adds another layer to our understanding of how life might spread through space. Just as individual star systems have habitable zones where liquid water can exist, our galaxy has regions that are more or less conducive to the development and survival of life. The galactic center, with its supermassive black hole and intense radiation environment, presents challenges for biological survival. The outer edges of the galaxy, where heavy elements are scarce and star formation is infrequent, may lack the chemical diversity necessary for complex life. But the middle regions of the galaxy, where our solar system resides, represent a sweet spot where conditions are favorable for both the synthesis and preservation of biological material. Our location in this galactic habitable zone may not be a coincidence. If life spreads through the galaxy via natural processes, we would expect to find it concentrated in regions where conditions are most favorable for biological survival and proliferation. The apparent fine-tuning of our galactic location raises intriguing questions about whether life naturally seeks out the most hospitable environments, or whether hospitable environments naturally give rise to life. The answer may involve feedback mechanisms that operate on galactic scales. Recent research into the deep biosphere has revealed that life on Earth extends much further into the planet's interior than previously thought. Microorganisms have been discovered in rock formations kilometers below the surface, where they derive energy from radioactive decay and chemical reactions with minerals. These deep life communities represent a vast reservoir of biological material that could survive even the most catastrophic surface events. When large impacts occur, they can excavate material from these deep biosphere reservoirs and launch it into space, potentially carrying representatives of Earth's subsurface life to other worlds. The discovery of subsurface oceans on multiple moons in our solar system suggests that similar deep biosphere environments might exist throughout the galaxy. Europa, Enceladus, and potentially dozens of other moons harbor liquid water beneath their icy surfaces, creating environments that could support life for billions of years. If life can survive and evolve in these subsurface environments, then the number of potentially habitable worlds in our galaxy may be orders of magnitude larger than estimates based solely on surface conditions. This expansion of the galactic habitable zone dramatically increases the probability that life exists elsewhere and that biological material regularly moves between worlds. The implications for human origins become particularly intriguing when we consider the unique aspects of our planet's biological history. Earth has experienced at least 5 major mass extinction events, each followed by rapid evolutionary radiations that produced entirely new forms of life. The speed and creativity of these post-extinction recoveries has long puzzled evolutionary biologists. Traditional models of evolution through natural selection struggle to explain how complex new body plans and biological innovations could emerge so quickly from surviving species. But if Earth regularly receives biological material from space, these rapid evolutionary radiations could be explained by the arrival of new genetic material and potentially new species from other worlds. Each mass extinction event might represent not just a catastrophic ending, but also a cosmic reset that introduces fresh biological possibilities to Earth's evolutionary experiments. The human lineage itself shows several unexpected accelerations in evolutionary complexity. The rapid expansion of brain size in our ancestors, the development of language and symbolic thinking, and the emergence of technological civilization all occurred on timescales that seem remarkably fast by evolutionary standards. While these developments can be explained through conventional evolutionary mechanisms, they also fit the pattern we might expect if human evolution were influenced by occasional inputs of genetic material or even direct contact with advanced civilizations from elsewhere in the galaxy. The universality of certain human behaviors and cognitive patterns across all cultures suggests that some aspects of human nature may have deep cosmic roots. Our tendency to look up at the night sky with wonder, our universal attraction to mathematical and geometric patterns, and our persistent myths about visitors from the stars might reflect ancestral memories of our cosmic origins. These patterns could represent not just cultural evolution, but the expression of genetic programs that evolved in response to cosmic influences over millions of years. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence takes on new meaning when viewed through the lens of galactic panspermia. If life spreads naturally through the galaxy, then the development of intelligence and technology might be common outcomes of biological evolution. Rather than being alone in the universe, humanity might be part of a galactic community of intelligent species, all connected through their shared cosmic heritage. The apparent silence of the cosmos, known as the Fermi paradox, might be explained not by the absence of other civilizations, but by the subtlety of their presence. Advanced civilizations might communicate through channels we haven't yet learned to detect, or they might have evolved beyond the need for obvious technological signatures. Alternatively, they might be following protocols that minimize their impact on developing civilizations, allowing each species to discover its cosmic heritage in its own time. The ethical implications of our potential cosmic heritage challenge many of our assumptions about humanity's place in the universe. If we are indeed part of a galactic family of life, then our responsibilities extend far beyond Earth. Our actions affect not just our own species and planet, but potentially contribute to the ongoing evolution of life throughout the galaxy. This perspective suggests that the development of spacefaring technology and the eventual colonization of other worlds might be not just human ambitions, but biological imperatives that serve the broader goals of cosmic evolution. The story of panspermia and cosmic seeding ultimately returns us to fundamental questions about the nature of life and consciousness. Are we separate individuals struggling for survival on an isolated planet, or are we integral parts of a vast, interconnected system of cosmic intelligence? The scientific evidence increasingly supports the latter view. From the organic compounds in meteorites to the rapid emergence of life on Earth, from the resilience of extremophiles to the optimization of the genetic code, the patterns we observe point toward a universe where life is not an accident, but an inevitable and essential feature of cosmic evolution. This doesn't diminish the wonder and uniqueness of human existence. If anything, it enhances our significance by placing us within a story that encompasses the entire galaxy and perhaps the entire universe. We are not just the product of terrestrial evolution, but the current expression of a cosmic process that has been unfolding for billions of years. Our consciousness, our creativity, our capacity for love and wonder, our drive to explore and understand, all of these may be manifestations of a galactic intelligence that is gradually awakening to its own nature. As we stand on the threshold of becoming a spacefaring species, we carry with us not just the hopes and dreams of humanity, but the accumulated wisdom and potential of countless worlds. The next chapter in the story of cosmic evolution is ours to write, and its implications will ripple through the galaxy for millions of years to come.